And hello everyone, welcome back to another Flask tutorial. So in this tutorial I would like to take a look at actually coding our sign up page so it actually works. So let's do just that. First of all, I would like to generate this right here, so this database, because currently we don't have a database to store any of our users in, so we're just kind of sitting here hoping for the best. So let's quickly do that. I'm going to just comment this out and that, and then I also just want to import from a relative perspective, so I'm going to remove that dot there at the front, and you can say with app context. We can say db.create all, and this will create all of the necessary items we need in our database. Cool. Now that we have that, we can go here and say Python, or we should go into our friends here, which we already are. Good. So we're in this folder right here, not the one outside of it, but the one inside. We're in this folder. Once we're there, we can just say Python to start up our Python environment, and then say from init import db. And you'll notice now we have a users.db. Just ignore any warnings here. So we have a users.db. This is a database which we can store data in. It's inside of this TMP folder because right here we told it should be there. Cool. Once you have done that, we can just do this, and there, everything should be back as it used to be. Now that we have this database, we can start implementing the route. So if we go here to route, here we go. Now first, I just want to import everything right off the bat. So we can say redirect and URL4. And we can also, from date time, import date time, because then we don't have to worry about importing it later. And in here, we can also say from .databases.db import db. And we also want to import everything from users, like that. Now all of our imports are done. We can then go down to this route here, the index route, and we can just allow methods get and post. So now it can take both get and post requests. Well, later on, this index page will handle login. We're not currently going to focus on login, so we're not going to do the login right now. But in the future, this route will handle login, whilst this login route will handle signup. Of course, what you could have done is let signup handle signup and login handle login, but this is just kind of how I like to work, is I like to use a form and then navigate to the required location. Now here, if we get a post request, we are almost certain that this will be a sign up request. We want to sign up. So we can just go here, and inside of this login HTML, you'll see our form action no longer has a backslash or a forward slash at the end. Make sure it's like that, otherwise we might run into a few issues. And then here we have a uname for the username, this name uname, this is important. And in this name pwd for the password. These are pretty important, I recommend you remember them. Then in here, if we get a post request, we should sign up the user. So we can get the username, which will be from request.form and uname. So that's this name we saw right here. So there's pwd, and here's uname. And that will be the username. Same for password, but this one will be pwd. So now we have the username and their password. Now there are multiple ways of doing what we're about to do. So we want to check that the user does not already exist in the database. So each user should have a unique username. This is how we can also identify them apart from their ID. Because when they log in, they don't use an email, they use a username. So their username has to be unique. Otherwise, we'll have a few confusing things here going on. Now, there are multiple ways of checking if the username exists or not, but I find this method to be kind of my favorite, the sweet spot. Users.query. So we're going to query this users right here. So this users table. We're querying that, and we want to filter it by their username. And it should be the same as the username that has been passed in from this form. And I'm going to say .all to get all of them, and then at index 0. Here, if we get an index error, that means that there is no username to speak of. So that user does not yet exist inside of this database. Meaning, if we go except index error, so if we get an index error, we know this user does not exist in the database. We can then create a new user. Users, we can just specify username is equal to username. Password is equal to encrypt string password. This encrypt string comes from this auxiliary py, so we're passing in a string and then getting an encrypted string back. So we're encrypting their password. We're a very basic encryption, but at least it's being encrypted. And then we can say date accessed is equal to date time.today. Now we need to add our changes. So db.session.add, and then the changes we want to add, in this case, new user. So it's almost like committing. If you've ever worked with Git, you have git add and then git commit to commit and save those changes. Here it's the same. We say db add to add the changes we want to save, and then db.session.commit to save these changes to the database. And then we can flash them this message to tell them, hey, your account has been created. Just log in to get started. Finally, we can say else. So if the user already exists, so we did not get an index error, we want to return redirect URL for root.signup, and then username exists is equal to true. This username exists, you'll notice, is here. So on this sign up page, we have our username exists. If it's true, they will get this error displayed to them. So if they're trying to sign up with a username that's already in the database, then they'll get this error. So that's what this is doing. So if their username exists, then throw them this error. Don't sign them up because their username already exists. And that's the sign up. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to just go back and then run.sh. We can then go to the URL, open it up, and then we can just, of course, display it here. So we get hello world. Now when we go to sign up, we get this, which is good. Now let's try and sign up. My username will be Jack and my password will be password. We sign up, and here we get an error. No such table users. So this seems like it might be an error of this table here. Let's take a look. So if we go here, I should have something to open this up with. Yes, here we have DB browser for SQLite. There's multiple browsers like this. I'm going to use this one. I'll add this to list. In fact, I'll make this the default, and then we can OK. Then we take a look here. Let's see, we have 0 tables, so we did not create the users table. That is quite unfortunate, which means we just need to create it. So what we could try and do is we could see if we were to go here, we were to bring this back in, remove this blueprint again, remove this again, and then just bring that back in. If we were to open up our Python environment here again, so cd tor friends, Python, and we were to say from, and here we just also need to import databases, users DB, users. Let's see if that will work. So from init, import DB and users. Okay, so we didn't get any errors. That's a good sign. Now when we refresh, there we go. There's our users table. So we just needed to import that users. Okay, so now we do have a users table, meaning we should not be getting this error anymore. I'll move this to off screen. We can close this page right here and go back to sign up, and we can just start our app again. And of course we need to fix everything again. Just go like that, and then add these dots. Now when we go back here, and this should be a one-time thing, you shouldn't have to do this too much. Now when you refresh, we can go Nick, and then Pacman as the password. Pacman's the, okay, sign up. Account has been created. Log in to get started. That's a good sign. If we were to browse this data, you'll see we now have a nick and a password that has been hashed. So this is Pacman SD, but we can't see that. It has been hashed. They're not a moderator, they're not an admin, and the date accessed is today. So that's pretty neat. Let's add another account. So no account. And we should just fix that URL. There we go. We just removed that. And we go back here. No account. And we need to refresh because we saved a template. We refresh, continue. And here we actually get username already exists because it sent that post request again. But now we can go to have account or no account. And we can say Jack, password, sign up. Account has been created. If I go to no account and now I try to go Jack, password, sign up, we'll get username already exists because Jack is already in the database. There we go. Cool. And that's that for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And I will see you all again in the next Flask tutorial.